arms in the air for that one and everything. Welcome to the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome back aboard the Streamboat as we delve down into the Netflix stream because we're hoping to pull up a catch. A catch that includes a hidden gem of a movie.
That's what we try and do every week. We delve down there, see what we can pull up and see if we can find something worth watching on Netflix.
Absolutely.
And this week we have pulled up a Norwegian horror movie called Cadaver.
It sounds like a horror movie. Just from the title.
Just from the title. It was released in 2020. It is a 15. It runs for a measly 1 hour and 26 minutes and is currently rated at 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Pretty mid.
Mid. Well, it's very mid. 5.2. As I said, it's Norwegian, so we're not going to have a lot of info on the cast. It stars a guy whose name is wonderful. His name is Thorbjorn Harr.
Oh,
he
that's
plays.
So nice to say.
Thorbjorn's one word.
Yeah.
Great. Thorbjorn. He plays Matthias. Maria Grazia Demio plays Catherine. Thomas Gullestad plays Jacob. And Kingsford Slayer
Brilliant.
plays Lars.
Absolutely brilliant.
Wonderful name. Written and directed by a guy called Jarand Herdal.
Sure.
Oh, I did a bit of research on Jarand Herdal this week.
I've been on you?
I've been a little bit.
Yes, you did.
I've been on his website. Jarand Herdal is a beautiful boy. He's a very good-looking man. He was only 23 when he made this movie.
That's to be credited.
Incredibly young.
Yeah.
He also, when he was 16, he made Norway's first sci-fi movie.
Yeah, nice.
At 16. He's since moved to Hollywood and has had no credits on IMDb since this movie was made.
Yeah, but stuff
happened.
Stuff's happened in the world since then, so
very true.
Hopefully we see something from him.
Yeah, hopefully. Do you, Nick, have a one-word review of Cadaver?
De abattoir.
Wow, I love that. Why have you said that?
We're going around corners a bit. Well, we'll find out.
We will indeed. Shall I give you a quick synopsis of this movie? Because
yeah, sure.
It has an interesting setup, doesn't it? So it says, in the starving aftermath of a nuclear disaster, a family of 3 attends a charitable event at a hotel, which takes a dark turn when people start to disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your setup. That's where we're at. That's what's happening in this movie. Where does this movie start, Nick?
A painting of a sheep's head in a bowl of blood.
A painting of a sheep's head in a bowl of blood is correct.
I mean,
there's a slow zooming out of this painting.
You find out straight away what the atmosphere of this movie is like.
Yeah. Dark, dismal, grim.
Gothic. Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic Norway.
And
is where we are.
There's a load of kids running through a load of halls in a big house.
Yes. And they find a big...
It's dusty.
It's dusty and old. And
yeah.
Big. They find a big pile of clothes. Which they
several.
Play in.
Yeah.
Several big piles
they're
of
like,
clothes.
I'm like, oh, they're dressing up. And then they're running up and down staircases, and then the camera pans out, and these pile of clothes are actually like taller than a man.
Yeah,
and
big piles of clothes.
Oh, that's lots of people's clothes.
Yes.
This seems ominous.
Then we hit the title card, and then we join a family in a post-apocalyptic street scenario. So it's all grim, it's dark, there's thunder going on, there's dead bodies in the street.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, because basically for the next 15 minutes, I found it really difficult to see anything.
Yeah, it's dark, isn't it, this movie?
Like, it's literally dark.
Yeah.
I couldn't see much.
Really?
Yeah.
No, good. You need a better telly.
I was watching on my iPad, which is probably the problem.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so they're walking through this street, going back home to wherever it is that they live in this grim post-apocalyptic world. When they get to their apartment complex, the little girl in the family spots that the neighbour's door is ajar.
Sure.
And when they push it open, there is a couple hanging from the ceiling who appears to have committed a double suicide.
Sure. But you left out the kind of, before she pushes the door open, there's a lot of very grim choking noises.
Yeah, it's literally just happened.
Yeah.
Oh. Then there's a montage / compilation of newspaper headlines.
Yeah, the old spinning newspaper.
Yeah, of where we are in the world, what's happened.
Yeah.
But they're contradicting themselves.
Are they?
Yeah, because some of them say nuclear war, some of them say nuclear accident,
yeah.
some of them say nuclear disaster. So we're not quite sure what's happened.
That's the press for you.
Yeah. Something has happened which has caused a nuclear explosion wherever, presumably this film's set in Norway.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing the whole world's fucked.
Yeah, it sounds like the whole
that's my
world's
take
fucked,
on this.
and the press were just not quite sure how.
Because you generally think Norway's one of the more outlying areas.
Yeah.
So stuff must have really gone bad for
to
Norway to be involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we see a lady. She wakes up. She's asleep. She wakes up and she finds that her child is missing. This is the same lady that we've just met a minute ago. She finds that the child is missing. She starts panicking and then she wakes up again because she's dreaming. And the kid is not missing. She goes to check on the daughter. The daughter's called Alice. What was the mother called?
Leonora.
Or
Leo for short. And she has to go and comfort Alice, as you say, because Alice is like, I've heard monsters, the screams, and you can hear...
You can hear noise all the time.
Yeah, the soundtrack to this movie is gunshots, screams, thunder, just all going on outside.
Post-apocalyptic noise.
Sure.
So, yeah, she has to kind of comfort the daughter. The daughter's, what, 8 or 9?
Let's go with that.
Yeah. And then there's like shooting and banging at the door and shouting.
Literally at the door of their flat.
So
someone's hammering to get in.
They're all absolutely terrified now. The husband comes in. He's Matthias. He basically says...
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He is...
Jakob.
Sorry. Basically, he's saying, look, we've got to do something. We maybe have to move or
They're
something.
all giving each other a pep talk.
Yeah.
Because like, we can get through this. We've
There's
got
nothing,
each other.
but there's nothing they can do. There's nowhere to go. No. They can't do anything. They've just got to kind of hang in there.
They're squatting in this place as well.
They've just got to kind of hang in there.
And then... Well, I say they're squatting in this place. I thought they were squatting in this place. But then the camera pans to like a poster of a production of Hamlet.
Which she'd been in.
And it's Leo. So she's in her former life before the world went to shit, she was an actress, I presume.
Yeah, she was. She says that at some point in the movie. Yeah, so whether it's they're squatting in somewhere they used to live or possibly. They've moved there. There's not really any time frame on how long it's been since this accident either. We don't know. I don't think the child was born. I think the child was born before the nuclear disaster. So it's
my
take is that it's
really
quite recent.
Matters, but so did I. I took from it that everyone was very much trying to
was newish to this.
Yeah, work out what the hell to do.
Yeah, because they were talking about they're like running out of food and things like that. So,
which would make sense if we've seen all those newspaper headlines.
Yeah,
but it's fairly recent.
Whilst they're eating whatever the gruel that they're eating for their dinner, somebody starts shouting in the street.
Yeah.
And he's basically advertising...
A circus man arrives. That's what my note says.
He's basically advertising a exclusive show that's being run by Matthias. And he's like, escape the horror. Come and see Matthias's exclusive show.
And you get a free meal.
Yes, a free slap-up meal if you come to the hotel. Leo goes out to see what's happening because she's an ex-performer, so she's excited by this idea. And she goes and buys free tickets.
She says, well, how much is it? We haven't got any money. And the circus man says,
pay whatever you've got.
What can you pay?
Yeah, whatever you can pay, we'll take.
Which, I mean, I don't know what use money is, but...
No. Which is, I think, the point. With money's not really a problem. So she goes back in after she's bought the tickets and she tries to convince the husband.
Yeah, Jakob's not sure.
Yeah.
He's like, well, this is a bit weird.
Yeah. But she's like... We've not had any fun for ages. Life's got to go on. Yeah. Let's go and have some fun. Let's just have one night where we can treat Alice as a good night, a good show, and we get a free meal out of it. What could go wrong? So they do. They go. It's that night. They turn up at this hotel that's like on the hill, looming over the town.
Yeah.
So they go. They turn up, and the same circus man's there collecting the tickets, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, kids are not allowed.
Yeah,
no kids
in
here.
You adult show, kids. Not that kind of show, but like,
yeah,
no kids are allowed.
No kids are allowed. And then Matthias, whose show it is, he's in charge.
He's the ringmaster.
He kind of emerges from the shadows, and he's like, "Let them in."
She's like, "Can you?" He talks to little Alice, and they says, "Yeah, I can make an exception."
Yeah,
for you.
You've seen all the horrors in the world.
Yeah,
there can't be
there's
any
nothing
worse
here
than that.
Yeah.
So they do. They go inside. They're let in, and they go into this extravagant hotel.
Yeah,
completely out of place in the rest of this world.
Through to the banquet hall, and the hotel has power.
Yeah, it has lights.
Water.
It has water. It has food. The kitchens are stocked.
Yeah.
And they do. They get served a slap-up meal. They've got
They do.
steak. They've got all sorts. And all of the guests there devour it like it's their first ever meal, because technically it is, I guess.
And the family that we are following are seated with another family.
Yes, who also
On the
have a
table.
child there.
Yeah, and Leo says, "Oh, did they introduce themselves to each other?" And she says, "Oh, did your daughter get special dispensation to come in as well?" And the other parents are kind of like,
What
are you talking about?
Yeah, they look confused.
Yeah. So it's first inkling that things are maybe not
as they seem.
what they seem.
But that interaction is interrupted when Matthias comes out onto the stage.
He does take the
And he
stage.
introduces them to the show. Welcome to the show. The hotel is the stage. We will not be performing on this stage. Basically, there's going to be a show going on in the hotel.
Yeah, all throughout the building.
All throughout the building. Follow whatever character intrigues you the most, is what he says. Yeah. And remember, everything is staged. Everything you see tonight is staged. It is all part of the show. And to help with that, they are all the audience members are handed masks, gold face masks, to differentiate them from the actors.
Exactly.
So you don't go following the rest of the audience.
Yeah, Matthias says anyone who's not wearing a mask, actor.
Follow
Mask,
them, find out their
audience.
story.
Yeah.
Find out their story. Follow whoever you intrigues you the most.
I mean,
it's a great idea.
Putting aside like what happens later in this movie, just as an idea for a, I quite like it. Maybe this exists. I don't know.
Maybe it does.
But it's got quite the cast. It's a big hotel.
Yeah, it's a massive hotel, and there's people everywhere.
Yeah.
So some of these people they've been sitting having dinner with are cast members.
Yeah.
So they don't know that, but they don't put masks on. And after he's finished the stage, two people stand up and start having an argument.
Yeah.
They're not wearing masks, so they are part of the show. We've just been told this rule. And they finish their argument, and one goes off one direction and one goes off the other direction, a male and a female. And the audience have to decide which one they're most intrigued by. Who are they going to follow? And our family decide to follow the lady.
Yeah, Raquel.
So, Raquel. So they do. They wander around. They follow her to see where she's going. As they do that, various other scenes play out, and you can branch off and follow those people.
Yeah, into other rooms. So you've got we get a shot of a man being reunited with a family member or wife, I'm not sure, and some people peel off to go and look at that.
There's a couple having sex in one room.
Yes,
some
there is.
people peel off and watch that. But they decide, no, we'll stick with Raquel. That's what we said we were going to do. So our family stick with following Raquel to see where she's going. Suddenly a screaming woman runs past, which completely freaks Alice out, the young child. But they say to her, look, it's just a show. None of this is real. Just enjoy it. Get on with it. It's fun.
They say, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And she's like, oh, no, I'd like to follow the lady.
Yeah. Alice then wanders off on her own.
I don't know if it's too harsh a criticism, but they don't look after this.
They're not very good parents.
Because this is like the tease of losing her.
Yeah.
And they find her shortly. But it's like, they lose her like 4 times in this.
So at this point, they lose her. She wanders off. They lose it. They catch up with her and they get reunited. Yeah. And then as they're talking about the fact they've just lost her, they lose her again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and this time she's gone. They have no idea where she is. And then they hear her screaming behind a door. So they break the door down. But she's not there. Then one of the other guests appears. It's the lady they were sitting with earlier. And she's also lost her family.
Yeah, but I would say, like, they're all alone as well all of a sudden.
Yes, yeah. Everybody else
everyone's sort of thinned out. And there's just 3 of them. And like you say, they bump into the lady who they shared dinner table with. Alice has gone somewhere, and it's interesting to point out at this point that they've all took their masks off.
Yes, so this lady that appears has taken her mask off or was never wearing one. But Leo and Jakob have taken their masks off as well. So the mask thing doesn't work. And then suddenly they lose that lady too. She goes off into a room looking for her family, and then she's just suddenly not in that room anymore. Yeah. And so they're like, well, where the hell did she just go?
And one of the rooms they go into, I think it's the first room when they're looking for Alice, is all like there's been a fire in there. So everything's
charred and burned.
And they hear Catherine scream, who's the lady, the acquaintance that they've made, follow her into a room, and she's nowhere to be found.
She just disappears, Then we see this painting again that we saw at the beginning of the movie with the sheep's head in a bowl of blood.
Yeah.
And Leo goes right up to it And then when she looks in the eye of the sheep, it blinks at her.
I thought it was a good scare.
Was a good scare. Scared the shit out of Leo. She went screaming. Then they start looking for Alice again.
Well, she says to Jakob, "That painting just blinked at me."
Yeah. And Jakob's like, "What are you talking about,
sure?
crazy lady?"
So he goes up to the painting.
And there's nothing there.
Gives it the old rub.
I think he pokes it in the eye.
And no, the eye. Yeah, he rubs it, and the eye is canvas.
Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing there. So they start looking for Alice again, and they come across a man he's almost in like a dressing room area.
Yeah.
And
so he's a waiter. So he was
Yes.
playing the part of a waiter, and now he's I suppose he's gone meta because now he's being an actor playing a waiter.
Yeah. And then he basically slits his throat in front of them.
He says it's taken us over.
Yeah.
We can't escape it. And yeah, he slits his throat.
Blood spurts everywhere. The last thing he says to him is, "Don't trust anything or anyone."
Yeah.
I've written it was that part of the show because he didn't have a mask on, and everything is part of the show. We don't know. Then they find Alice's doll. They freak out, obviously, and then they run off. And then they find Alice's doll on the floor,
Yeah.
and that's covered in blood as well.
Sure.
So they're proper freaking out now because they've lost their child.
And then Raquel walks past.
Yes.
Who was the initial lady that they followed, and she just says to them both, "Are you two new?
Yeah.
Come on, we've got to get to the ballroom."
Yes.
This not mask system
Doesn't work.
has fallen badly.
The cast members don't know each other.
Yeah.
So as soon as the audience members take their masks off, the cast members assume that they're just part of the cast.
Bit convenient.
Yeah.
So Raquel has done exactly that. I presume that both Leo and Jakob are part of the
cast. Then they bump into Lars. Who was Lars?
He was Catherine's husband.
Yes. And he tells them that the blood is fake on the doll that they found, Alice's doll.
He's like, it's sweet.
It's sweet. He tastes it and it's sweet. And that's when it's revealed, look, the play is still going on.
Yeah.
The stuff is happening that's not quite right. And
somehow they end up in the room from the prologue.
Yes.
The room full of clothes, the pile of clothes. And what's there but Alice's jacket on top.
Right in front of him. It's very strange. Then they see some people in like full white cleaners costumes.
Yeah, just milling around.
Just milling about, which is weird.
And then Lars finds a squib.
Yes.
So he's basically, look, here's fake blood. It's a what like they use in the movies.
Yeah.
For gunshots and things like that. And then so they're all like, oh, what? Maybe Alice is fine. What's going on?
Yeah, it's all, nobody knows what's real and what's fake anymore. Leo sees somebody walk through a wall, which proper freaks her out because she's like, where did he just go? That was weird. Then they go into the basement and they find like a furnace where they're burning all these clothes.
Yeah.
Which is strange. And Jakob says, look, I think everybody else, nobody else is about anymore.
So where is everyone?
Maybe they've thrown them all in this furnace and we're in trouble here. That was his guess at this point.
So they do get a bundle out of the furnace. It's just clothes.
It's just clothes.
Yeah.
He then blames Leo for them being there. He said we should never have come, blah, blah, blah. Then the guy who slit his throat earlier turns up. He's okay because it was part of the show. And he holds a knife to Jakob's throat.
Yeah.
Because even I don't know what's going on anymore, what's real and what's not real. Leo gets away. She manages to run away from this guy. I think he was called Hans.
Yeah, he was. She gets into the dumbwaiter.
Yes, she does. And she goes down to the kitchen.
Because Jakob's like, save yourself.
Yeah.
I'll do what I can here.
Yeah. Because they walked through the kitchens earlier.
And, sorry to cut across
That's fine.
And Lars has just done one.
Yeah, he cleared off ages ago.
Any of this.
When they walked through the kitchens earlier, when they were following Raquel, the kitchens were stocked. There was food everywhere. Yeah. It looked like amazing. But she gets into the kitchens now, and it turns out all that food is fake.
It's like play food.
Or plastic.
Or cardboard.
Or cardboard, yeah.
Like just flat.
She knocks like a big leg of pork on the floor or something, and it just clatters. It's not real. But this dude's chasing her. This Hans dude is chasing her.
So she hides in a cupboard, and then she hears he's about to discover her hiding place.
Yeah.
When he's called.
He's
basically shouted, "Hans, get back to the ballroom. Yeah. We're getting ready for the next show."
So there's another sitting of people coming. But while she's hiding in this cupboard, there's all newspaper headlines all over the wall.
Yeah.
Which basically talks about how this man's daughter was killed in a hotel.
Yeah.
And then this man buys this hotel afterwards. and this is the headlines. So this is Matthias, we would assume. Leo then finds a picture of Alice with Matthias.
It's not. So she sees it as Alice. So she's wandering around. That everyone's in the ballroom preparing for the next show. So she's almost got the place to herself. So she managed to get into Matthias's office and opens a letter which Raquel had left there for him earlier, and it's a picture of Matthias with a girl on his lap. And it's at first it's Alice.
It looks like Alice.
No, it is Alice.
It is Alice.
But then the girl changes to another little girl.
Yeah.
So this is kind of supposed to be Leo's mind playing tricks on
her. These two girls are very similar.
Yeah, they are similar looking. Yeah.
It's even mentioned later on that his daughter looked like Alice. And then she overhears Matthias giving a brief to the actors.
She gets to the ballroom and basically she's
hiding up in the
balcony spying on them.
And he's giving
a pep talk.
He's telling the actors what their job is. He's like, so their job is to be as engaging as possible and make people follow you.
Yeah.
Scatter the audience is what he wants. He's like,
'cause he says there's more of them than us.
Yes.
So we've got to thin them out.
So this is where we find out that something is going on here.
Raquel's not happy. Something's going on between Matthias and Raquel, which we've not been privy to all the details of. No. But he basically tells her, step your game up or you're back out on the street.
Be better. More emotion. He needs more emotion.
Yeah.
It's then revealed that Catherine is also part of the show. She turns up. She's she's moaning about something that's gone wrong.
Something about the tunnels getting
she got stuck in a tunnel or something.
Yeah.
Leo then briefly sees Alice on the stairs, or what she believes to be Alice on the stairs. And she follows her, but then she's everywhere. She's in everywhere she turns. Alice is there. She's losing her mind slightly a little bit.
So she kind of waits for the cast to start to file out because the audience are getting ready.
There's more people arriving. She looks out the window and she can see people arriving again.
So she decides to follow Catherine.
Yes,
at a distance.
Yeah, and she eventually falls through a trapdoor.
Yeah.
Into these secret tunnels that are under the.
She follows hotel. Catherine, and Catherine basically dropped herself down into this trapdoor, which is how she'd escaped them earlier in the room when they'd heard the scream.
And basically, what we find out at this point is that the guests are either fall into these tunnels or are pushed into these tunnels, and then are taken away by these cleaners that we saw earlier on, and whatever is done with them is done with them.
But Leo is kind of exploring for a bit in the tunnels.
Yeah.
She pops her head out through one of the trapdoors and she's in the fire room.
Yes.
The charred room. And she hears Catherine say to her, I presume a newer cast member.
Yeah.
So it was the effect of just get the audience to the trapdoors and the people in the tunnels will take care of the rest.
She sees them with bodies, and they're chopping them up. They've got meat choppers.
Yeah, so she goes back into the tunnels, and at the end of this, one of the tunnels it's a butchery.
Yeah.
So you've got the hanging plastic.
Yeah, plastic everywhere.
Sheets.
It's like a Dexter's kill room.
It's an abattoir.
Yeah,
but it's humans.
They're chopping them up. They're dismembering them.
One guy's using a meat slicer.
Yeah, slicing ham.
Make a human. But it's charcuterie.
And then Lars sneaks up on her and knocks her out. And she wakes up hanging upside down in this butcher's. And Matthias is there.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody has survived as long as you have in my hotel.
Yeah, I'm like, she's not survived
that long. But
so
everybody
must be very efficient.
It seems like everybody went down pretty much straight away. Yeah. Before they lost Alice, everybody else had disappeared anyway. It was unclear.
Yeah, and
what had happened to everybody else.
I think I was okay with it generally, but I do remember thinking at the time, I was like, where has everyone else gone?
Yeah.
Clearly something was happening and people were being taken somewhere. But even so, I was like, hang on, there was a lot of people that turned up for this.
Yeah, it was never really made clear.
A scene later, we're just down to the family.
Everybody disappeared straight away.
Yeah.
And it's like, why set up this whole thing?
Quite a lot of people followed Raquel at the start.
Yeah.
And suddenly it was just...
Why set up this whole thing if you're going to take everybody down instantly? You might as well just poison them all or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, she wakes up hanging upside down. Matthias says, look, nobody's survived as long as you have. Come and join us. Be an actor. You are an actor anyway.
Yeah.
Come and join us.
I've got a job for you. You come and join my cast.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I want to go home. And he's like...
I want to find my family.
yeah, well, your family's here already, and they're already here, and they've been killed or whatever. So join us. And she's like, never. And then as he leaves the room, he puts Alice's dress over a meat hook.
Yeah.
As is to say, well, she's already dead.
He says to Lars, basically, if you take care of her and keep it quiet, I'll get your family a better room.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jakob comes in, and he's like, yeah, they're right. We should probably stay.
Yeah.
We need to join these people.
He's like, it's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
Food,
Yeah.
accommodation.
It's fine.
And Leo's like,
What the fuck are you
what have you
talking
done
about?
with my husband?
But then
Jakob says to Lars, just give me a minute with her.
Yeah.
I can talk around. You might not have to kill her.
And then he knocks Lars out.
Yeah.
Sends him flying. Cuts her loose. But then Lars manages to stab him.
Yes, he does.
He stabs Matthias. This results in a fight between Leo and Lars.
Yeah.
And that culminates in him. She pushes him onto a meat hook.
Yeah, she does indeed.
As of a la Leatherface. Which goes right for him and kills him. And then she goes and comforts Jakob.
Yes.
He dies in her arms.
He does.
This is the end of him.
Yeah.
She then finds out that the blood on Alice's dress is fake.
Yep.
She tastes it. And more guests arrive. I don't know if this was like a third sitting that was going on.
I
it felt like more people had turned up.
One, and then really conveniently, Leo turns her head and there's a small pile of audience masks.
Yes.
So she takes one.
So she becomes part of the second audience
Yeah.
now. Because Matthias is
Back
on
in
stage
disguise.
doing his spiel again about it all being a show. So she's back in disguised.
And we kind of get a montage of Matthias doing a similar speech to the one we saw.
Yeah.
This is what happens. The play happens all around you. Follow the actor that you're appealed by. That is intercut with a montage of food prep, and butchery that's going on in this busy hotel.
Were they being served the previous people? Were they eating humans?
I don't know if yes, they were eating humans. I don't know if it's specifically the previous people because when we've just had the scene with the meat hooks, there was a load of bagged people upon.
It seems like this has been happening often, regularly.
Yeah, basically they're feeding people.
It's never understood why they're doing that, but they are doing that.
I guess because it's it's this group has thought, well, food's difficult to get. So we'll just eat people.
Just eat people and feed them people as well. Leo's wandering around in a mask, and then she gets attacked by a dude, which is this. Was it Hans again?
Yes.
He attacks her from behind, and her mask comes off, and they start fighting in the corridor. And then she suddenly decides, I'm going to put my mask on him.
Yeah.
So she puts her mask on his face, just as one of these big, bulky cleaner guys emerges from the wall. And they're basically emerging from the wall. They're basically emerging from the wall and dragging people through these trapdoors. And so they took the wrong guy. They took the guy in the mask because that's what they do.
Breaks his neck.
Yes. This cleaner guy just breaks his neck in half and drags him through this wall. She then goes out and she manages to confront Matthias because he's sitting in this like ballroom area.
Yeah, and the audience hasn't quite broken away yet.
Yeah, so some of the audience are still there. And she's like, "Where is my daughter?"
She just goes with the truth. She says, "You're taking people away. You're butchering them. And you're feeding them to people." And he just laughs, and the rest of the audience just laughs.
Yeah, because she's not wearing a mask, so she's part of the show. They've just been told it's all part of the show. He says to her, "Look, I gave you a choice. You chose wrong. Now you're welcome to my show," is what he says.
But then she flips it, and this was clever.
This was clever. I liked this. So then she starts acting.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I can't believe he's taken my daughter," and all this, which makes all of the guests follow her.
Yeah.
Because follow the most intriguing cast member.
And there was good acting by Matthias as well, because he was like, you can see his face crumbles where he's like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
This wasn't how it was supposed to plan out.
Yeah.
And a horde of people follows Leo.
And so what she does is walks them straight into the tunnels.
Yeah.
And exposes everything that's going on.
Straight to the abattoir area. And everybody starts freaking out. She causes a mass panic. Interestingly, some of the actors are following her as well.
Yes.
And they didn't all know.
They weren't even aware of what was happening themselves.
And Catherine says, in fact, doesn't she, in the next scene, I thought you were just taking their belongings. I thought we were just robbing them.
Not doing this. So they all freak out. There's a riot start. The actors didn't know. They're all chasing as well. And she goes back to Matthias and she's like, "Where is my daughter?
Yeah.
Where is Alice? What have you done to her?" And he says, all he says to her is, "I got her in the end."
Yeah.
And he's like a horrible person, this
Yeah.
Matthias guy. And then Raquel comes up and stabs him in the chest.
Yes.
Takes him down. And Raquel turns to Leo and she's like, "Look, your daughter looked just like his daughter."
Matthias, with his almost his dying words, says to Leo, "You're alone now as well."
You have achieved nothing here.
Yeah.
Your daughter is dead. Your husband is dead. I kept you alive. And he says, "You should be grateful." And then he dies. Everybody then leaves. The audience members freak out. They've all run off. They've left. The actors start filtering out. They leave. And then Leo thinks she's having a vision of Alice walking down the stairs because she's just been told her daughter's dead. She believes that. But it turns out she actually is. Alice just appears and walks down the stairs.
Yeah, real Alice.
Yeah.
So presumably Matthias had wanted her to replace his
daughter character.
Dead daughter. Yeah.
She doesn't believe it's really Alice, but it is. She starts crying. They have their big reunion scene. Alice says, "Where's Daddy?" And Leo just says, "Look,
we're on our own.
It's just us
It's
now."
me and you.
So they leave and they walk back up the same street we saw them walking up at the beginning of the movie.
Back down a hill into town.
Turn around, look back at the hotel, which is all lit up still. Almost the skies opened up and spotlighted it. It looks quite a beautiful place. Very overlooky.
Yeah.
And then the film ends.
Yeah, with the clear inference being that Leo's actually thinking, yeah, maybe we could go back and live in the hotel.
Yeah, because nobody else is there.
Is she thinking, actually?
There's a lot
Did
of
you
food
take
there.
that?
Yeah, I did.
Take the sort of
it very much like she was
maybe
like,
that's not the worst idea.
Yeah, I'm going to go and live in this
Matthias
hotel
had.
now. Do you think she's just going to eat all the food that's there?
Well, I more thought that like it was hinting that she could tread the same path as Matthias.
Oh, really? Take on the same ideas, maybe. I took it that they were definitely going to go and live in the hotel. I don't think I took it as far as that.
Okay.
We'll never know unless Cadaver 2 comes out. What did you think?
I thought this was a pretty funky little horror film.
Okay, I'm surprised by that. I honestly didn't think you'd have enjoyed this.
I thought it was fine. Look, it's no great shakes, but I thought it did what it did fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think I quite enjoyed it. It's short, it's snappy, it runs.
There's a couple of nice little twists in there. I think the performances were good, which is never a given in the movies that we see.
Definitely not.
And yeah, I don't know if there's much there beyond scratching the surface.
No, it's very like low level horror. But it's something
thought it was
different.
alright.
It's something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of post-apocalyptic horror movies.
Yeah.
You see a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, but this is going generally for the horror vibe.
I think the ambition for it, for such a sort of small budget, small cast, you know, we've seen so many movies that just try to overreach with their limitations, and this didn't. And I thought it was.
It's very pacey.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent horror film.
I'm really surprised by this. I did as well. I genuinely thought it was quite pacey. It moved at a decent speed. It was the horror scares are there, the intriguing stories there. They maybe could have done with a little bit more explanation about why this was happening and what was happening afterwards.
I think, but I think they were trying not to give too much away, were they?
It's a deliberate choice.
Yeah, but I think it would have been better balanced if we'd have been given more information at the start, because I don't feel that the twist in inverted commas of they're killing and eating people, I don't think that was a good enough twist to make it worthwhile withholding information at the start.
I mean, they're killing and eating people, but they're putting on this whole extravagant show around that, and it's like, why are they doing that? Why are they not just kidnapping and killing people?
Instead, I guess what I'm getting to is like, instead of like me having the questions of, oh crap, where's everyone else gone? I'd have rather right from the start seen people disappear into trapdoors and being taken, because I think there's more ominousness in that than me not knowing.
You don't see anybody disappear. There's just suddenly you realise there's nobody else there with them, and it does seem a bit jarring at that point.
You see a few, you don't, and then when the second load of people come in, then you see some people dropping through trapdoors.
Yeah. But the first time it's like Alice has disappeared, and then suddenly everybody's disappeared, and you're like, oh, that was a bit strange.
So too, I understand why they tried it, but yeah, for me, it kind of jarred rather than
I'd agree with that.
added to the atmosphere.
But overall, this isn't a bad little horror movie. It's better than the one I went to see in the cinema this week. It's better than that. So
fair enough.
It has no big, crazy, stupid monster reveal at the end, which is always nice. Cool. What's the best thing about it?
I mean, is it the hotel?
Yeah.
Is it the sets?
I think it is. It's really well made. The directing's really good for such a young guy to do it as well.
There's a lot of I didn't count, but I felt we did see the same shot quite a few times, looking up or down the central staircase.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
it looked like there was a lot of these cleaner guys walking around as well, but I'm pretty sure there was only like 2.
Yeah,
and they were just different.
I think it's always a cop out to say, what. It's the sets, and I do think the acting is good.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right.
When we come to, I was going to say, I was getting ahead of myself a bit. If it comes to changing anything, it always feels a bit of a cop out to say if this had another, I don't know, $500,000 on the budget, you can, if you can put more of that money on the screen, so you've got more extras, you've got,
you could probably give it a little bit longer run time. Yeah. Just do a little bit more explanation of what's happening, a bit more world explaining,
and you can probably build Mateus up a bit more.
Yeah,
being a bit more of a
generic horror villain, isn't he? He's just give him a bit more. They tried to give him a bit of backstory with his daughter dying in the hotel and what have you, but needed a bit more meat on those bones, I think.
Because when he does act and shout, and when his sort of facade as this ringmaster breaks, he is good.
He is.
Fjorben.
Thorbjorn. The woman who plays Leo is really good as well. She's always on the right side of crazy. Yeah, and I thought she was great in it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it will stick in my mind, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was. Yeah, I think 5.2 is a pretty harsh rating.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really surprised by this. Genuinely.
Right. What did you think I wouldn't like?
I don't know. I just didn't think it was going to be your kind of thing. And so I just thought you'd have been down on it. But you seem to have taken it in your stride and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Should we talk stream table?
Sure.
So, currently at the bottom of the stream this is the 12th film going into this table. We're halfway. Currently, the bottom is the 11th, Buddy Games. Then number 10 is Here Are the Young Men. Number 9, Freaks, You're One of Us. Number 8 is Mercy. Number 7 is Sweet Girl. Number 6 is Still Time. Number 5 is Catty Catty. Number 4 is Don't Listen. Number 3 is Against the Ice. Number 2 is The Humans. And number 1 is Warriors of Future, currently. Where does this one go?
I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I have no idea.
My initial reaction is that we might have tripped ourselves up a bit, because my eyes are initially drawn to the other horror movie that we've done recently in this list, which is Don't Listen. And I kind of feel like I enjoyed this more than that.
Okay.
But I also kind of feel I didn't enjoy this as much as Catty Catty.
I genuinely do think Catty Catty's a little bit too low in that table.
Yeah.
I remember that was the first episode of the season, and we raved about that film, and things seem to be going above it when they
kind of already thinking Don't Listen is at least one place too high.
I agree.
And I think my gut reaction is that this goes just below Catty Catty.
Below Catty Catty.
Yeah.
Okay. So above last week's film.
Yeah. How about you?
It's tough because Catty Catty's a better film than this. That's a fact. But this is better than Don't Listen.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, it is. And you're exactly right. It has to go below Catty Catty.
I think so, yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
But it's better than Still Time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's fair.
So between 5th and 6th?
Yeah.
Okay. 6th.
I think it's decent. Halfway up.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't expecting that when I pressed play on this.
If you like horror movies, you're going to get something out of Cadaver, I think.
Well, I think you said it all there. If you think this was a better movie than the, reasonably big budget horror movie you went to see at the cinema this week.
Yeah.
Then
But that was rubbish. that was genuinely Hollywood cut and paste horror movie.
they'll remake this.
You reckon?
Years. I don't know.
Maybe.
Is it a bit purgy?
Yeah, it is. There is a bit of a Purge vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could
So
probably
maybe
adapt it
not.
into the Purge universe, maybe somehow.
Purge Hotel.
Purge Hotel.
Yeah.
It felt a bit like a Ryan Murphy kind of project as well. It's like you could see it being an American Horror Story kind of.
I think
TV
our
show.
young director friend could potentially have been an influence. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But look, overall,
It's a decent horror movie.
it's a fun
If
time.
you like cheap, low budget Norwegian horror movies, you're probably going to enjoy it.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, indeed? Right, shall we pick next week's movie?
Let's do it.
What do you want from next week's movie, Nick?
Less blood.
Less
maybe.
blood.
Less butchery.
Okay.
My wife's first job was a butcher's assistant.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can see that. Having met your wife many times, I get it. My dad used to be a butcher's assistant as well. That was his
Really?
first job. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Crazy.
Oh, I bet they don't know that. I'm going to tell her when they get home.
They'll have something to talk about next time they see each other. Right, I'm going to press the button on Robin. Are you ready?
Sure.
Robin has picked us a movie called Spaced Out. Any ideas?
None whatsoever.
No?
I mean, I see two options off the top of my head: a sci-fi type movie or a stoner comedy.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those two, hasn't it? Oh, maybe both. Maybe it's a
The
play on words.
The sci-fi stoner movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's been done.
Robin has thrown us a curveball here. You will not be expecting what Robin has thrown up.
Okay.
This movie was released in 1979.
Oh wow. Okay, we're going way back.
We're going way back. It's a comedy sci-fi. Would you like a synopsis?
Yeah, I really would.
It's a very short synopsis. Are you ready?
Even better.
It says, low-budget aliens, brackets, 3 nice-looking women and a gay computer voiceover, close brackets, crash land in England and abduct 4 Earthlings.
I'm okay. I don't even know what to say. I mean, that's the weirdest written synopsis I've ever heard.
Yeah.
If it is admitting its low budgetness in the synopsis,
In the
then
first words of the
we are
synopsis.
in for a treat.
We really are. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody we might know in there, but I don't think there is. It sounds fun. It's only on for an hour and 17 minutes.
Okay.
It's rated X on IMDb. 18. It's an 18 on Netflix. It's an 18. Do you want to know Netflix's synopsis? That's slightly different.
Sure.
It says, aliens crash land their cargo ship on Earth and are delighted to explore the nuances of human sexuality in this bawdy, low-budget sci-fi farce.
Oh God. What are you doing to me?
Robin, what are you doing? It's an 18 sexy 70s British camp movie.
Oh, it's gonna be all boobs and wang, isn't it?
Yeah. Boobs and wang. That's what we like on this show. It's 4.4 on IMDb from 690 reviews, which is not many in the last 44 years.
No, it's not many. It's not many per year, is it?
No, it's not. So I'll tell you one thing that's guaranteed. We'll have a laugh.
We always
We
do.
will have a laugh recording next week's movie show. So yeah, go out and watch. On IMDb, it's actually called Out of Touch, but on Netflix, it's called Spaced Out, and on the poster, it's called Spaced Out.
Okay.
So go out and watch Spaced Out. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Our username on all three is @BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Dinner plate set.
dinner plate set. That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
And then after you've done that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, for £5 of your English pounds every month, you will get early access to the movie show episodes. You will get a poster and a coaster. You will get exclusive access into an exclusive area of our Discord. Loads of other cool stuff. We'll just be, basically, you'll be mates with us. It's only £5 a month. It's well worth it. And you will also get, which I haven't mentioned yet, a wild card,
Yes.
which means that you can give Robin the week off, pick a movie that we watch one week, and if you pick the best one of the season, you'll get a prize.
You will also be able to take part in, come and join the Discord watch-alongs.
Watch-alongs?
Which we had last week.
Yes.
And forgot to mention on the wave.
Yes, because it's not happened yet. Time travel is confusing. Yeah, we do watch-alongs first Sunday of every month. That's coming up this Sunday as we record, last Sunday as we release.
Yes.
Yeah, we do that in there. There's all sorts of cool stuff. And then come and join the Discord. The Discord link is in the show notes. The Discord is a wonderful group of wonderful people who will just talk to you about anything. It's just great fun. Can't beat the Discord.
You really can't.
It's great. And you get involved in the real talks on the wildcard, on the wave, if you do the real talks. I've been talking for too long now, so I'm going to stop.
That's fine. If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review anywhere you can review or rate podcasts. It really helps. It helps get our little podcast in the ears and in front of the eyes of more people. And that's what we want. More friends. That's it.
More friends, more listeners, more listeners are friends.
If I've got to watch a bawdy 70s sex-based comedy, then why can't you?
Yes, exactly. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. We'll just tell you what it was like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. You can find us anywhere that you can find podcasts. Those are places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser. There's hundreds of them. We're on them all.
Yeah, we're on all of them.
Come and find us.
If you find one we're not on, let us know and we'll get on it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we've done another episode.
We have certainly done that.
Go out and watch Spaced Out.
Yeah.
And we'll be back on Monday for the wave and next Thursday for the movie show.
Cheers.
Bye.